Pope Francis was born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in 1936 in Argentina, the eldest of 5 children. He grew up in a modest home shaped by thrift and resilience. In 1958 he joined the Society of Jesus, and on December 13, 1969 he was ordained a priest. Appointed Archbishop of Buenos Aires in 1998, he was known for his approachability, personally contacting priests stationed in some of the city's most troubled neighbourhoods. Then, in 2013, following Pope Benedict's resignation, Bergoglio became Pope Francis, immediately setting a new tone for the papacy.
Il dovere del conclave era di dare un vescovo a Roma.
Rejecting the trappings of wealth, Francis lived in a Vatican guest house rather than the opulent papal residence. When questioned about his simple lifestyle, he famously replied, "My people are poor, and I am one of them." His focus on the marginalised was evident.
When Father Gustave Carrara wanted to set up this drug rehabilitation centre in Buenos Aires, he turned to a friend for help. That friend who made it happen is now Pope Francis. A year ago, when he was Cardinal Bergoglio, he came here to the shelter in one of the city's most deprived and dangerous areas to hold Mass.
The Vatican transformed a space off St. Peter's Square, formerly used as comfort rooms for pilgrims, into showers and facilities for the homeless. For his 80th birthday, Pope Francis shared breakfast with 8 homeless people before celebrating Mass with cardinals. Yet, his tenure was not without controversy.
Pope Francis is pushing back against those who've criticised his decision to allow blessings for same-sex couples. He says the critics are guilty of hypocrisy.
What I allowed was not to bless the union. That cannot be done because that is not the sacrament. I cannot. The Lord made it that way. But to bless each person, yes. The blessing is for everyone.
He launched a Vatican Financial Reform Commission, but its credibility suffered when Australian Cardinal George Pell, the commission's head, was accused and later convicted of sexual abuse. Though Pell was ultimately acquitted, the scandal cast a shadow over Francis's efforts. In 2018, a former Vatican diplomat accused Francis of ignoring reports of misconduct by an American cardinal. In 2019, he found himself in a theological storm, hinting to overturn centuries-long ruling that only single men might be ordained as priests to counter a severe shortage of clergy in the Amazon region. Progressive Catholics saw him as a reformer, while conservative voices accused him of ambiguity. Despite criticism, his personal touch remained, personally apologising to abuse survivors, even making impromptu calls to individuals around the world. But sometimes his remarks backfired. He scolded a Filipino mother for having too many children and compared gossip to terrorism, statements that baffled even his supporters. Above all, Francis wanted change. At Youth Day in Rio de Janeiro, he urged young Catholics to make havoc in their communities, fearing the church had become too complacent. Even illness did not deter him. Before being hospitalised with bronchitis, he challenged American bishops to resist President Donald Trump's immigration policies.
He ought to fix the Catholic Church and concentrate on his work and leave border enforcement to us. He wants to attack us from securing our border. He's got a wall around the Vatican, does he not?
Pope Francis emerged as a leader who inspired both devotion and debate. For some, he was a visionary reformer, reshaping the church with compassion and inclusion. For others, his reforms challenged long-held traditions. Yet through it all, his mission remained clear: to create a church that listens, embraces, and walks alongside the most vulnerable.